A newly made public video depicts the chaotic minutes after Q50 was filmed. The short answer is that it's brutal. Lord, please. But it's not just that. It's been reported that the slaughter was linked to a prearranged plot and $60,000 in debt, which has caused the internet to go crazy. I have the complete story, so let me explain. As the street buzz started, the hood went into panic mode. When August 17, 2025 dawned, the hip-hop industry was rocked by some bizarre rumors that were driving the entire drill scene straight out of control. Social media was more active at the start of the month than a corner store. The cause of all this chaos was Bloodhound Q50, the young cheese savage who has been taking the drill scene by storm with his gritty street songs. After making a lot of noise on the streets, this 20-year-old from Chicago's East Side seemed to be ready to start making noise once more. The first word on the block would have even the toughest street boys thinking about what to do next, according to multiple stories that were making the rounds on Twitter around the nation. Q50 had suffered the worst kind of fade in St. Louis, Missouri, where it was reported that he and 4 other homies were struggling for their lives after over 60 Draco rounds allegedly impacted his whip. Given how brutal and clear the facts were, everyone was left to wonder if this was truly going to be another horrific chapter in the drill scene's dark past. But there were other factors besides the shooting that contributed to the streets burning. It had to do with what was causing all of this madness. It started to spread like wildfire throughout the neighborhood that Q50 had allegedly fined a number of St. Louis cats $60,000. It seems that those men were not the type to concede a loss and move on. As the story progressed, it became clear that these boys from Missouri had set up the ultimate trap, inviting Q50 to their area for a fake show so they could take care of business as normal. Talk about a few practical, well-considered approaches to street justice. According to rumors, Q50 entered what the locals were calling a professional setup when it landed in St. Louis, not intending to pick up a quick check. Local rappers reportedly orchestrated the entire affair, turning what should have been a typical performance into a scenario from a mafia film.
It's Sunday morning, so it's kind of crazy that I got to start off this Sunday morning like this, but Chicago artist, Bloodhound, Q50, you know, notoriously linked to RIP, Bloodhound, Lil Jeff, was shot up last night in St. Louis. Him and, or 4 people, I guess, I don't know if it's him and 4 people or 4 people all together. They was all hit up. You seen the car was put on flats. They saying that all of them is in critical condition.
The details became more dramatic when the story made the rounds on various social media sites and hoods. Other blogs claimed to have video of Q50 allegedly slipping while he was leaving a pub. No one could, however, verify if the film was real or just a fraud intended to gain influence. Other stories that identified the perpetrators pointed to St. Louis rappers CTS Lou Wick and Ree Houdini as being in charge of the entire operation. ALLEGEDLY, seeking retribution on some websites, long-simmering animosity between them and Q50. What really stunned the world was the evidence and Instagram story that went viral faster than gossip at a backyard barbecue. With the caption, "Check on Bloodhound Q50." Someone posted a video of ambulances and bizarre police cars outside what seemed like a hospital. For the fans who had been following Q50's ascent since the start, it was like witnessing their worst fears come true in real time.
And as you see in the beginning, he is one of them guys, man, that he's gonna taunt people. That's the thing Q50 do. He taunt people.
The hip-hop scene reacted with fervor and speed. On Twitter and TikTok, among other social media platforms, fans shared their awe and prayers for their beloved performer. Comments like, "Damn, that's wild. I'm praying for Q50 and the casualties," thinking, "Damn, that's tragic. I hope they survive wherever you looked." since too many young artists had already been lost to street violence in a generation. This felt like yet another crushing blow to the culture.
I don't really know how old Juice was when he died. I know he was young though for sure.
Let's take a look.
Narrative that started to take shape. Around these accusations presented Q50 as more than just an innocent victim. It presented him as someone whose lifestyle choices and street reputation had finally caught up with him. This type of violence, according to fans and bystanders, was inevitable given Q50's songs and his movements. If you're representing Bloodhound 079, a real street group from the east side of Chicago, and your music is basically the soundtrack to gang war.
I'm gonna be honest, if trying to be gangster was ever a category in the Olympics, a dude like Q50 would definitely, most definitely, my bad, y'all, most definitely succeed in that, bro. I don't feel sorry for him.
Nevertheless, even though these wild tales were spreading like wildfire throughout every American town and neighborhood, something about the whole thing didn't compute. St. Louis's major news outlets were not covering the story. There were no reports of a Q50-related gunshot on the St. Louis Metropolitan. Police Department's official pages on August 17, 2025, regarding what should have been. Local news organizations such as Fox 2 and KSDK remained silent. An article on the first page promoting a new hip-hop act.
Yeah, I don't think I'm covering this through the mainstream anyway. It said Bloodhound Q50 got shot. Now, this guy, some of y'all might know him.
Red flags were raised for anyone who is really listening by the specificity of all these charges, the exact number of shots, the detailed account of the $60,000, and the names of the alleged assailants. The complete absence of reaction from reliable news sources began to raise serious concerns about whether any of this street justice was ever implemented in an era where social media can turn a rumor into the gospel in a matter of hours.
Well, yeah, he lucky. You talking about St. Louis and you robbed in St. Louis because allegedly he took somebody's chain for $60,000 in St. Louis and
to understand the speed at which these falsehoods propagate. However, you must understand who Q50 is. The life narrative of the street person, not simply the artist, serves as a cautionary tale about the dangerous intersection of notoriety, authenticity, and gang culture. The nickname is based on the real story of Q50's journey from the trenches to the top. Understanding the man who shot Q50 in St. Louis is essential to understanding why the hip-hop world as a whole assumed he had been shot dead so quickly. The songs, the life story of a young artist blends street legend and cautionary tale. Bloodhound Q50, born McQuail Cooper on August 6, 2004, is more than just a young suburban dog for the cameras pretending to be a gangster. This 20-year-old Chicago East Side native has been intensely entrenched in street life from childhood. A shadow has also been put over his rise to stardom by real cruelty, real sadness, and the kind of street believability that cannot be produced in a studio.
I took my time for it.
What do they catch you with?
Yeah, 50. You sound like the charge.
He was raised amid the kind of poverty and violence that makes young men either statistics or survivors, and the story of Q50 begins on the east side of Chicago, more precisely around 79th Street and Maryland Avenue. His childhood was marked by instability. In several interviews while he was in Gary, Indiana, he discussed his strained connection with his father. For Q50, attending traditional school was never really an option. In order to keep him out of trouble, his mother had to take away his BB pistol after he was dismissed for bringing it to class. He ultimately completed his coursework using a different online program, but not before a widely circulated video of him being jumped by classmates surfaced online, which would go on to contribute to his controversial public image. There is more to Bloodhound 079 than just a rap identity for Q50. His genuine membership in a gang has influenced a large part of his life. The junction of 79th Street and Maryland Avenue is home to Bloodhound 079, sometimes known as BH, a Chicago drill rap group and gang clique. This isn't just a band of musicians. This is a legitimate street group that has been connected to violent altercations in the past few years that have claimed multiple lives.
So let's talk about the situation. So you and Jeff are starting to rap, and the way you guys are rapping is a little bit different than most rappers.
Right.
The most terrible loss in Q50's early life occurred on June 8, 2024, when his cousin and closest associate, Bloodhound Lil Jeff, passed away. Jeff's death was not an accident. Trap City and Bloodhound 079 were engaged in a street brawl that had already claimed multiple lives. Trap City's man was shot 19 times when Jeff tried to hit him. In the drill scene, artists are constantly threatened with real-life violence, and his murder was a symbol for that brutality.
There was a bunch of rumors that said that you were there when Lil Jeff got killed.
Yeah, rumors, but no.
Given that he has acknowledged being present during the incident that led to Lil Jeff's death, Q50 is directly targeted when it comes to violent gang conflicts. Despite his denials of witnessing the shooting, his presence at the scene demonstrates how deeply he is a part of the dangerous society his song portrays. This person is not rapping about a lifestyle that he has never known. When the firing started, this individual was present. Jeff wasn't the only relative, though. The Q50 has been lost because of street violence. His cousin, Bloodhound Zoni, was shot 29 times at a parking lot close to 79th in Kimbart on March 16, 2023, and died as a result. The ongoing hostility that would eventually lead to Jeff's death was reportedly sparked by Zoni killing Lil Jeff as payback for stealing a chain from Vel, a member of Trap City.
By this point, is the music being taken more seriously?
Not at this point. At this point, when I took house arrest, Lil Jeff was gone. He had died. So like at this point, now I'm stepping up to the plate for him, and yeah, now music starting to get too serious.
As payback for stealing a chain from Vel, a member of Trap City. Interview 948-1005. Q50's criminal history serves as more evidence of his genuine street cred. He was given a 1-year jail sentence in 2025 for having a modified firearm that had a switch that turned a semi-automatic weapon into an automatic one. Having a standard gun was not the only reason for this conviction.
Yeah, what was the what exactly did
aggravated UUW? But it's like, I ain't never really understand it because I thought aggravated UUW unlawful use of weapon. I thought that meant you used the weapon.
In his public persona, Q50's position on authenticity in his music has been perhaps the most controversial aspect. In his lyrics, Q50 claims to have shown 8 bodies, particularly in songs such as Splash Brothers. He has, however, stated in interviews that these are made-up statements influenced by computer games such as Call of Duty.
You know, it's like, how can I explain? A lot of rappers, just cause you're a rapper don't mean you gotta live what you rap, you see what I'm saying? That's just so like basically, I'm just doing any other rapper doing shit. I ain't living with, you know what I'm saying? I'm making shit up, making it just sound good. You see what I'm saying? It's just like all these other rappers, so like, that's why I be trying to see like what the make me and my brother so different. That because we lying about the we rap about. That's what I know. That's what I know rappers do.
Because it is so difficult to distinguish between artistic expression and true assertions, Q50 has become a contentious issue. A 2007 Laura Ross documentary claims that Q50 and Lil Jeff talked of arranging hits to make money. According to reports, Jeff claimed 10 and 11 murders, while Q50 claimed 8. As a result of misinterpreting his lyrics, Q50 has refuted these allegations. Following Lil Jeff's death, Q50's rise to prominence truly took off. Splash Brothers, his debut single, was released on July 26, 2024, just a short time after Jeff was Murdered, the song also gained a lot of popularity. More than 2 million Spotify streams were made. Songs like Stare, which got over 10 million Spotify streams, and Don't Blink made him a rising star in the drill scene.
Right.
Now, why that title?
That's just something I always say before my songs, like a little slogan I came up with. Like, that was just something I knew I had to do. Like, that's something I wanted to do when I started rapping. Like, I got to come up with something catchy that's gonna catch their attention, and that's what I came.
After Q50 signed with Signal Records, a division of Columbia Records, in late 2024, his career underwent a significant sea change. By February 2025, his monthly Spotify subscriptions had surpassed 1 million. His debut album, Long Live My Bruda, He Probably Killed Your Bruda, which was released in April 2025, pays tribute to Lil Jeff and solidified Q50's place in the drill culture. Q50's problems, meanwhile, extend beyond his musical career and gang affiliation. A video of him snorting a Percocet was produced to generate interest. In interviews, he subsequently explained that the film was a fraud.
It's a publicity stunt.
So that was just fake.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say
Conflicts with other musicians have also contributed to Q50's controversial reputation. He clashed with YFG Fatso on Instagram Live in July 2025, denouncing Fatso and his late friend CEO Hawam over a dispute involving other artists, demonstrating how quickly online disagreements can escalate in the drill scene. There have been more violent incidents in the young rapper's background besides losing family members. Q50 reports that he was shot in the thigh and had to apply pressure to the wound in order to remain calm. He also survived a gunshot, which he attributes to mistaken identity. As a continual reminder of the brutality that has shaped his life, the bullet is reportedly still lodged in his thigh.
I don't really carry guns, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the gun wasn't even on me intentionally like that. Like, it wasn't, you know what I'm saying, that wasn't even my book bag. So it's like, you feel me? Like, that ain't really like, only thing it made me do is just watch my surroundings. But as far as carrying a gun, hell no, I still don't carry no gun.
His documented history of gun violence, his gang affiliations, and the horrifying murders of his closest friends made rumors of another attack seem not just likely, but almost certain. When the alleged shooting in St. Louis occurred, fans weren't just reacting to news about a musician. They were responding to the next chapter in what seemed to be a bloody story that had been repeated many times, by admitting his gang ties in his interviews without directly linking himself to any violent actions. Q50 has been careful to preserve his street cred. It has become crucial for drill rap artists to strike this delicate balance between remaining loyal to themselves and avoiding legal issues. Yet it also creates an environment in which it is impossible to tell the difference between reality and fiction. When hip-hop goes awry, authenticity has a price. Hip-hop culture readily accepted the Q50 shooting allegations since they were widely disseminated and encompassed much more than just one artist's controversial past. The drill scene is where Q50 initially became well known, and it represents the most radical evolution of this authenticity culture. The sad drill rap scene in Chicago has seen a number of rappers slain in recent years. The genre's focus on authenticity and street cred puts pressure on singers to be active in the dangerous communities and conflicts that inspired their songs. Though, in theory, if they are successful, they should have other options. The body? Count in hip-hop, particularly in the A-list of combat casualties, seems to be the practice scenario. FBG Duck, a drill rapper associated with the Flyboy Gang, was shot and killed in August 2020 while shopping in Chicago's Gold Coast neighborhood, in what police claimed was a deliberate attack. He was reportedly the target of a bounty from competing musicians, and the incident, which involved numerous gunmen, was linked to his conflict with the Black Disciples sect Oblak. In 2020, King Von, another Chicago drill star and member of the Black Disciples Oblak organization, was killed in an Atlanta nightclub, killing linked to ongoing gang conflicts. With songs like Crazy Story, Van had been becoming increasingly well known. Therefore, his death was particularly tragic. However, his past relationships and ongoing problems continued to bother him even as his career took off.
If you want to entice people and if you want to taunt people and if you want to get at your ops, whatever state they in, whatever place they from, and they get at your ass, hey, charge it to the game. He blessed that he wasn't instantly killed.
Violence happens elsewhere besides the Chicago drill scene. Pop Smoke, a Brooklyn drill artist who was supposedly associated with the Crips, was killed in a home invasion in the Los Angeles suburb of the Hollywood Hills in February 2020. It's possible that a social media post revealing his whereabouts contributed to the attack, illustrating how celebrity and street connections may create deadly weaknesses. According to some stories, the home invasion may have been targeted due to his gang affiliations or rising celebrity, even though it was initially reported as a robbery. During a theft outside a motorsports store in Florida in June 2018, XXXTentacion was shot and killed. He was not directly involved in gang activity, but his controversial image and previous legal troubles made him a target for violence, which finally resulted in his death at the age of 20. Beyond single cases, the tendency points to a structural problem in certain segments of the rap industry. Draco the Ruler was fatally stabbed backstage at a music festival in Los Angeles in December 2021. Gang-related conflicts are suspected of being the reason for his death. He became a target due to his association with the Stink Team, a Los Angeles rap collective with ties to the Crips in a city with a high concentration of gang affiliations. With musicians like Shu and Julio Fulio playing pivotal roles in violent feuds that have claimed many lives. Jacksonville's drill culture has been particularly vicious. In June 2024, while celebrating his 26th birthday, Fulio was shot and killed as part of a gang battle between ATK and Kill Them All KTA, two of AC's finest killers. As seen by Sue's 2024 murder conviction, drill music feuds can escalate into deadly real-life conflicts. The role that social media plays in these disagreements getting worse cannot be overstated. Rappers have the ability to publicly mock rivals on social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram, a never-ending cycle of provocation created by diss tracks, location leaks, online feuds, and intensifying altercations that can turn violent makes it difficult for artists to exit disputes, even when they want to.
But what you was about to say about it?
Well, what I want to say is that, you know, over the years I've interviewed maybe about 5 people that died from drug overdoses.
Damn.
So, you know, you're signed to somebody whose biggest artist died from a drug overdose.
A number of systemic issues, including poverty, institutionalized racism, and a lack of opportunities in urban areas, contribute to this violence and create an atmosphere in which joining a gang becomes a means of surviving. Successful young musicians often return to their towns where old connections and rivalries may resurface, making it difficult to fully escape the violence that inspired their songs. The commercial success of drill rap has provided the industry with distorted incentives. Media outlets and record companies often use violent stories to their financial advantage, inflating conflicts. Due to the strong emphasis placed on authenticity, artists who can show that they have real ties to the streets often gain more fame and money than those who don't, which forces them to maintain dangerous relationships. The ease of access to firearms in the United States exacerbates these problems, as seen by the many drive-by shootings and automatic weapon ambushes that occur there. When the same weapons that are depicted in music videos and lyrics turn up in the streets, it creates a deadly feedback cycle between art and reality. This has had a significant negative impact on hip-hop culture. Pop Smoke, XXXTentacion, and numerous more drill rappers have passed away, perpetuating a cycle of trauma within the genre and impeding development. Every fatality shakes communities, causing sadness as well as retaliation that could intensify the conflict. Hip-hop culture. normalized this brutality, which is why the Q50 shooting accusations were so widely believed. Given Q50's experience, fans' remarks that such an occurrence was inevitable showed that they understood that violence is not an anomaly, but rather an expected outcome in the drill scene. The genre has fostered a society where the line between risk and artistic expression has completely blurred. Young artists' deaths are seen as content, and survival is seen as an indication of authenticity. The media regularly emphasizes the violent aspects of these artists' lives, which supports false beliefs about rap and black communities while neglecting the genre's diversity and positive impacts. The sensationalist approach that feeds a vicious cycle in which violence becomes the primary prism through which these singers are viewed makes stories like Q50's alleged shooting seem not only plausible, but inevitable. Some well-known industry leaders have attempted to address the problem of violence through mentorship programs and community service projects. Nipsey Hussle invested in businesses and projects that provided his community with alternatives to homelessness before his own death in 2019. Some musical firms have begun to provide guidance and safety to young musicians, while Jay-Z has made contributions to social justice campaigns.
So that taught me my lesson. So I'm just gonna say, as someone who's more than twice your age, as you get into this game, if you could try to avoid that, man, your life is gonna be way better.
However, these programs face numerous challenges. Industry insiders say it can be difficult to advise young artists to avoid risky behaviors, especially if they have recently become well-known and wealthy, yet still have connections to risky situations. The need to maintain authenticity often conflicts with the pragmatic need for safety and security, since the court system has begun considering rap songs as evidence in criminal cases. Rappers who blur the lines between reality and fiction in their songs face even more difficulties. Cases such as the RICO claims against Young Thug, where lyrics were presented as evidence of gang activity, emphasize the tension between artistic freedom and involvement in gangs. Accountability under the law. The Q50 event ultimately serves as a microcosm of these larger issues facing hip-hop culture. The ease with which fans, the media, and industry insiders picked up on the shooting rumors shows how normalized violence has become in some rap circles. The fact that a 20-year-old artist's alleged near-death experience may be assimilated as entertainment and transformed into material in a matter of hours raises questions about how the culture views violence and authenticity. Are you interested in seeing more like this? Click the suggested cards that show up on your screen to continue watching.